Hey guys, it's Miss Summer. Thanks for joining me for a story. Please subscribe, like, and share with others. We are reading Panda and Polar Bear by Matthew J. Baek. Let's get into it. In a place where spring met winter, there lived two kinds of bears. Where it was green and grassy lived the panda bears, and where it was white and wintry lived the polar bears. But in between loomed a tall, steep, and slippery cliff. It was too tall for a panda bear to climb up, and too tall for a polar bear to climb down, and so the two never met. Until one curious polar bear became too curious. What was beyond his white, wintry world? He walked closer to the edge of the cliff, and closer still, perhaps a little too close. Wow! Luckily, the polar bear landed in a patch of soft, squidgy mud. It was sticky and brown and yick! Stomp, stomp, stomp. Something was coming. The polar bear ran, but the cliff was too tall, too steep, and too slippery to climb up. Stomp, stomp, stomp. The polar bear covered his eyes. He peeked from behind his muddy paws and saw a strange, splotchy bear staring at him. "Are you new?" asked the strange, splotchy bear. "Do you want to play?" Said the polar bear. The splotchy bear took this as a yes. In no time, they were climbing trees, playing hide and seek, and following the leader. Finally, they sat down for a snack. Yick, thought the polar bear. This bamboo is too hard. He had a better idea. Let's fish, he said to his new splashy friend. The polar bear looked into the water and yes! Could it be? He wasn't plain white anymore. He had turned into a splotchy bear. Splash! He swam out, snatched a fish, and proudly presented his catch. "You're fading," the splotchy bear said. "Where are your panda patches?" "Panda patches?" the polar bear replied. "Aren't you a panda bear?" asked the splotchy bear. "No," he said quietly. "I'm a polar bear. I'm all white, just like snow." He sighed. What terrifically splotchy panda bear would want to be friends with a plain white polar bear? But the panda's face brightened. "I've never seen snow," he said. "What's it like?" So the polar bear explained all about snow. But the more he talked, the more he remembered, and the more he remembered, the more he missed. Suddenly, the polar bear was homesick. "I'll help you get home," said the panda bear. "But the cliff," the polar bear replied. "I'll think of something," said the panda. So he thought and thought and thought until he couldn't think anymore. "Maybe we could use bamboo," suggested the polar bear. "Well, my mother told me never to play with food, but I think it's okay this time," said the panda bear. Together, they made a very long ladder. A very, very long ladder. When it was finished, the time had come for the polar bear to go. He looked at the panda bear. Would they still be friends after he left? The polar bear wanted to ask, but he wasn't sure how. Instead, he turned and slowly climbed the ladder. And climbed and climbed. The higher he went, the harder the wind blew. The ladder began to shake. And then it was suddenly still. The polar bear looked down. There was the panda bear, holding onto the ladder with all his might. "Don't worry," the panda called. "I've got you." In fact, they had each other and a lot more to discover. The end. Do you like making new friends too? I had so much fun getting to know Polar Bear, and it didn't matter one bit that he didn't really look like a panda bear. I loved getting to see what he really looked like and what his environment was like and the types of games they played. God made us all different, but yet the same, full of his love and friendship. And it's awesome to be able to share that with others, isn't it? Did you like this book, Panda and Polar Bear by Matthew J. Baek? Then check the link in the description below and see if you can get it for your own. And join us back next time for more stories with Summer. Bye!